Okay, perfect. So we are talking tonight social media, and kind of the social media 101, all the stuff there. But before I get into that with you guys, I think that just based on some combos that I've had behind the scenes, I feel like some of you guys might be struggling with or need some help with kind of knowing what to say when someone says they want more info, kind of like that next conversation. So we can talk about that, but I would love if you could either unmute or drop in the chat bar kind of anything that's been a pain point for you or a question this week, so that we can make sure we get that covered before we dive into like just an actual presentation really quick for you. So is there anything that you guys are either struggling with, might sound too intense, but like is a struggle or is something that you kind of want to chat through before we jump into social media? And while you're doing that, I'm scrolling and trying to find on my computer the presentation for tonight. So just drop away. And if you've had any wins this week, definitely share them too, because those are always really, really fun to see.
I've been ghosted a lot this week. Like every person, some of them were follow-ups, some of them were initial, some of them were like 3 days later into the conversation, but every single one of them, I've been ghosted.
Okay. Are you already into, like, I guess you said it's a variety, but have you even gotten their goals yet? Or
some of them I have. We initially started with that conversation, and then it was like once I sent the email with all the information and the packages and stuff, it was just like nothing. And I would send a follow-up and no response.
Yeah, that totally happens to me sometimes too. Do you, and you might not know, but do you know if they have been like super busy right now, or if they just got cold feet? Like, can you kind of gauge what you think is happening? Or
there's a couple that I thought, well, maybe they were busy, but then I was like, it's every single person that I've contacted. But I made like a group, like a 5-day sample group.
Yeah.
And so I invited the ones that had ghosted me, and a couple of them joined. So I'm hoping it draws them back in.
Yeah. So I would do a couple things. I kind of like to do sort of like a behind the scenes and like public stuff. So public things you could be doing is anybody, or you can even honestly go back through conversations like from a week or so ago where you've been like, do you want more info? And they're like, yes, or whatever. Screenshot it, block off their name, like, so you can't see at all who it is, post that in your stories and be like, yay, love it, like hype it up, like kind of that FOMO thing, like so excited, you know, they're interested. And then maybe do a so many spots left. You're kind of creating some FOMO on the public end. Like another thing that I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to screenshot when I go in and upload some content for my July challenge group that's starting. And I'm going to be like top secret, like so excited to pour in, you know, like creating all this stuff. So just like hype up what you're doing publicly, because they're probably still watching you.
Right.
Follow up with them. I would probably follow up with them. If you've already sent the email, maybe shoot them, if you can, like a voice message on Facebook or Instagram and just say like, hey, just wanted to check in with you because I wanted to save you your spot. Like, do you have fears or questions? Let's chat, and kind of keep it super chill.
Okay.
But I would do that. Have you done either of those things yet?
I haven't. So
okay.
I'll definitely try those.
Yeah, I think sometimes creating FOMO helps just because they're like, oh, I want to be a part of that. And then if you've already sent them all the info in an email, just sometimes like a cash, like check-in, I usually follow up 2 or 3 times depending on where I'm at in the combo. And then after the 3rd time, because I don't want to be obnoxious, I usually am just like, hey, seems like it's not a good time for you. You know, I really take it seriously, you know, wanting to help you with. So do you want me to let you know next month, or do you want, you know, I have some free resources I would love to give you. Sometimes that gets the combo going too. But sometimes when I just am like, hey, do you have fears or questions? It doesn't always work. I had a girl who was literally ready to order. We had gone through everything. She was all excited, and then just messaged me, like, I'm going a different direction. I was like, can you tell me what? Like, I would love, you know, I've never heard from her in like 2 weeks. So like sometimes people just go away.
Right. Okay. But I'll definitely try those things. Thank you. I would have never thought of doing that.
Yeah, so try that. I mean, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And it's so hard, especially as a new coach, to not take everything super personally. But I just kind of hold them with a very open hand. And I just have this kind of mindset of like, if I've done everything that I can, and I know that I'm sharing and showing up and doing all the right things, it just might not be the right time for them. And that's okay. So I always try to stay in phase one, meaning like I am staying in phase one in terms of my invites, in terms of my posts. Like I'm not counting on anybody until I see that order come through. So you've totally got it. Other things you guys are struggling with this week or need help with?
I am, I put on a poll in my stories so that, kind of getting them excited about what's coming up
Yeah.
and to join my team. And this has happened to me again where I do a poll if they're interested, if they want more information, and then they say yes. And then when I reach out, they're like, oops, I'm sorry, I pressed that on accident.
Yeah. Yeah. Always happens. I swear, always happens.
I'm like, what? Like, okay. I mean, I try to rub it off, but personally, I'm like, I was so excited. I had 4 people interested and now I have 0.
I know. It's so discouraging. So I always am like, hey, no worries, total, like I have fat fingers too. Like I totally do you actually want info? And I like turn it into an invite. Like, since you clicked, like, do you want to share more? Or have you ever thought about it? So sometimes I like laugh it off, but casually flip it into an invite.
Okay.
But yeah, no, it happens. It's very, very rare, to be honest, that anybody votes on my polls that are like a serious poll. That's not some random bot account or an accidental click. But I like having them there anyways, just in case, and it shows stuff. So it happens to everybody, so don't get discouraged.
Okay.
One message that I was sending out, and I can share this in the new coach. If you're in my team, I shared this in our new coach chat thread, but I can post it in the group. But I sent this message out to everybody who I had already connected with. Like I didn't send this to people who were not, like I hadn't had a conversation with before, but I took the kids berry picking. Hey, Rach. I took the kids berry picking, and those stories got a ton of views. And so I sent 2 messages from that. I sent one that just said like, hey, thanks so much for watching. We had so much fun picking berries. Do you guys have berries where you are, or something along those lines? Because Oregon is known for our fruit. And so that just got a lot of just fun little combos going. So that was a good connection message. And then off of those same stories, and I'll share this in the group chat, but if I had connected with them before, I sent them this message. Hey, Jess, thanks for following along with my stories. How have you guys been? Are things opening up? We had so much fun picking berries. You're always so sweet to watch since it's a hot mess here. I wanted to reach out. I'm so sorry I haven't before and invite you to jump into my next boot camp. I don't know if you have goals you're looking to reach, but I just love the community, being able to connect with other women. We're focusing all about nutrition and quick workouts this month. Would you like to learn more? And that got a few people interested who were just watching because I'm consistent in sharing. So stuff like that can work too.
Okay.
Discouraged if they're not. Yeah, if they're voting in your polls and not meaning to, that happens to everybody. Or I get so excited, I'm like 17 clicks, and they're like these weird Russian accounts or like random bloggers. Block,
Yeah.
block.
Yeah.
Okay.
Rachel, I was just letting her know that I had like 4 people that were interested in my poll, and now I have 0 because I reached out to them and then they said, oops, they voted on accident. And so that's what I was asking
a
about.
lot, but I always see that as like a really good conversation starter. I get a lot of bots, like robots, who vote in mine, which is frustrating. But at the same time, like I honestly message people who watch the story, so that's a better conversation starter than anything for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, polls honestly are not where I find my people. It more just like plants a seed and presents the opportunity. And then when I invite them like one-on-one, that's where it really happens. Yeah.
Yeah. We have talked so far about being ghosted with Brandy. Because we're kind of just talking pain points before we jump in. Anything else you guys are kind of struggling with this week or have questions on before we talk social media?
I know that like Brandy asked a question earlier, and was it Kristen Brandy in our message pod? She was saying, she had a lot of people that were like, what are you doing? Because, mostly newer coaches here and just starting to share, and people are saying, what are you doing? And they didn't know what to say. And I gave some tips, and that message pod. But basically, like, I kind of have this response, like, I just tell my story, like, you know, oh, I'm working out at home 30 minutes a day. I've started to learn about clean eating, and I have this group of women who's holding me accountable. Like, I just work out. It's through my Wi-Fi. Like, I log in, follow a workout plan, and I'm learning about nutrition and, you know, just kind of cleaning up what I'm doing. And I actually am helping other women do the same. And then I just say, tell me a little bit about your goals. Like, are you wanting to just work out? Are you wanting to learn about how to eat clean? Like, tell me more about you. And that's how I start the conversation if people ask about that. So that's what I do. And then obviously just start to help them connect with their goals, and then just ask them if I can send more information about the boot camp.
Yeah, just don't. And if you guys are struggling, like, please just reach out to us, post in the new coach threads or in the new coach page, or reach out to Rachel or myself or your upline directly, because we can help you. And I know Rachel and I both word vomited so badly as new coaches, and I probably lost, and I'm sure I lost a lot of sales because of that. So I just think always, and I was saying this to Brandy, on a different note, but like holding your people with a very loose hand and not taking it super personally. Like, it's not about us, it's about them. And it's hard to not make it feel like it's about us, right? Because we have our goals and we have our like income and we want like all the things, and those are all really good. But at the end of the day, we're serving these people. And so it's mostly important to listen, and just to, like, you might feel like the conversation's going slow, but I promise you that it will actually go better if you take it like one question at a time with them, instead of like, blah, challenge packs.
Yeah. Like, I always remember, and I don't know if somebody said this to me or if I just thought about it, but like, you know, like that purse you really want to buy, but it's a little bit outside your price range, and it's something that you've never like spent that kind of money on yourself, but you know it'll be so worth it if you do. And like, how many times did you look it up online? How many times did you go by the store? Like, how many times did you see the advertisement for it? Like, that's kind of what this is. And people want to do something good for themselves, but they don't want to spend the money on themselves, but they see you like carrying the purse and you look so great and you're having so much fun and you feel so good. And, you know, like, that's what this is. So you have to just like, you have to say, like, how long did it take me to invest in this myself? How long did I watch Rachel or Abby or someone else before I finally said, okay, that's it, like, I'm doing it? And so you just keep showing up, you just keep breathing belief and life and truth into these people, and keep following up. That's really important. Keep following up, and you know, people will definitely join you, some faster than others, some slower. So yeah.
I have a girl jumping in who just bought a challenge pack today, guys, who's been watching me for 4 years. Like, and she emailed me and was like, I'm finally ready. I got bad news at the doctor's office. You know, I've been struggling for years, and you popped in my mind, and I just felt like I needed to message you because I know you do this. And so it's like, you just don't know. She hasn't been liking my posts. I didn't know she was watching me. Like, we're friends, but you just never know. So be consistent. And social media is the best way to share that. So we're just going to kind of talk about that tonight with you. Do you guys, either from a show of hands or dropping a comment below, like on a scale of 1 to 10, how, 1 being like, it's scary, I suck, it's really bad, to like, I'm an awesome rock star. How do you feel about social media, like your social media? Like, be super honest, because that's what we're here to kind of work with you on. So drop it in the chat or raise your hand, the number, if you want to. Let's see, 6. What else have we got here? We've got, let's see, hold on, I'm pulling this thing up. So 5, okay, perfect. 8, great. Okay, we got a mix, so that's perfect. I know for Rachel and myself, 7. Yeah, so you guys are like kind of comfy. So Rachel, we didn't talk about this beforehand. I can go live in the group tomorrow about it, or we could do it tonight. Do we want to talk about the 10 things before we get into it, or do we want to save that for like a live in the group?
I think we can throw that down at the end. Let's throw it down at the end.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so we're going to talk about just kind of the basics tonight. So it is more about sociology and psychology. Like, guys, it's more about the people than the actual apps. And I think sometimes we get super overwhelmed. We're like, I don't know how to use the pens on Instagram stories or whatever. Like, no, we're going to learn that. It's about how you're utilizing it to connect with people. So we're going to talk about setting up your page, growing your following, all of these kind of basic things tonight. And it's going to be a lot. So I encourage you to take some notes. And I would really recommend, if you can, and I know not all of you can, but if you can, while we're going through this, like actually start doing some of these things, like as we talk about setting up your Instagram page and stuff like that, so that we can really kind of, it can be a working call as we go. Do you want to do this one, Rachel, or do you want me to? It doesn't matter.
Setting up your IG, yeah, I don't mind. So, you know, we're going to share with you, we're going to give you guys a chat, like homework, okay? Like I'm a teacher. We're going to give you some homework tonight at the end of the call, and this will help you if you haven't done this yet. But setting up your Instagram page, who you are, and the fact that you're not just a Beachbody coach is really important in what you do. We want you guys to really put some thought, and it doesn't take a long time to do this, but just say a prayer, ask God to guide you. But with your bio underneath your name is the first thing that people are going to see. So even before they scroll down, they see your pictures. Even before they see who you are, they're going to see these first few words about who Rachel Mitchell is, right? And so like your bio is really important. It should be very short. It should be easy to read. It should be something that really like kind of just encapsulates who you are in a few words. And that's not easy to do, but we have, you know, obviously you can go to my bio and Abby's bio, but we want your bio to reflect you. So it shouldn't say like Carmela Clemens, Beachbody coach, okay? Like that's the last thing you want it to say. So mine says, it has kind of has my mission statement in just a few, very few words. And then it has a few words about who I am. So it says encouraging women to follow God first and everything else second. So that's very short, very to the point. But then it says boy mama, fit-ish, Southern gal, and goal getter. All right. So, and then it has a link. That's not my link there anymore. It has a link to my blog now. But basically a way that people can go and read more about me. It could be your email in there. It could be a link to your like Google form. It could be a Linktree link. It doesn't matter. But just so long as those first few words kind of describe who you are. So like, you know, if you are into sports, if you don't have kids, if you have a dog mom, if you are faith-based, you know, whatever, like those first few sentences are what people see first. So make sure that you are really thoughtful about that. I don't have a Beachbody word. I don't have Shakeology. I don't have coach. I don't have a link to my team Beachbody, anything. It's just me. But yes, being a coach is who I am, and I'm going to incorporate that into my content and my stories and things like that. But this is just like what my bio is, okay?
Okay, so with growing, this is one of those things that, guys, this is a constant work in progress. And I think that it can be really easy to get discouraged and to feel like, my account is so tiny and so has 20,000 followers and whatever. I want to stop you first and say, number one, this is really important to be growing. This is a vital behavior. This is something that you need to do. But also don't neglect to serve the people that you have. You do have followers, even if you only have 5 and they're your mom. Like, you have people that you can serve right now, and like a bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush, right? So you are going to be growing, but I don't want you to neglect the fact that you already have people following you, and that's really exciting. So serve those people, but you do need to be daily growing your account, because that's how you're going to connect. So I would first of all make sure, and you know, if you don't want to have a public account, you don't have to, but you have to understand, if you keep it private, that your growth is going to be a lot slower. So I would recommend, if you feel comfortable with it, having a public account. That way people can see you when you are searching stuff, and also they can find you when you're tagging stuff, when you're hashtagging things. Your account is going to pop up. So it's a two-way street. So you can search hashtags. Don't search Beachbody. Don't search 21 Day Fix. Don't search Autumn Calabrese. Like, stay away from, again, not because we are ashamed of it or anything like that, but you want to diversify your audience. You don't want a bunch of people who already have coaches or are already coaches following you. So examples, when I was pregnant, every single week I would search that week of pregnancy. So like hashtag 21 weeks pregnant, and I would go to the photos that were posted on Instagram, and I would scroll until one caught my eye that looked like something I would post, and I'd go check out her account. I'd encourage you, this is a rabbit hole that you can get sucked down so quickly. So for me personally, I like to set timers and be like, okay, 10 minutes, I'm going to go follow 20 people on Instagram or something like that. So this does not have to be a super time consuming task. It's so easy on Instagram to find people They may or may not follow you back, but it is your job to like go and initiate and sort of like leave your calling card, right? Other things that you can do is go to your favorite small business accounts for influencers. So one of my favorites is Becky Thompson. She is a Christian mama. She's a blogger. She has kids that are just a little bit older than mine. And I know that anybody who's engaging on her posts is going to be very much my type of person. We have very similar interests. They probably also have young kids. So I go to her page and I look at not only who her followers are, but also who is commenting and liking on her most recent stuff, and I'll go add them. So that's another thing that you can do. So look around your house, look around your room, think about, what are things that you would search on Pinterest? Who do you like to follow for inspo? What do you have favorite artists or musicians or blogs, or, look at what's on your bookshelf, those types of things. Think about you. What are you interested in? Are you a dog mom? Do you, what is your lifestyle? All of those things. And this takes time. So don't get discouraged, but just even like 10 people a day, that's going to grow your account very, very quickly. So this needs to be one of those vital things that you're just going to check off, and it will pay off the more that you do it. So it's going to be small, and don't feel bad about that. There's nothing wrong.
Yeah, we were talking about this today, just about the struggles and the ups and downs we've had with growing our following. And just know that, like, if it's easy, if it's hard, whatever, you're not alone. And we are here to help you with that. But it is a must. It's one of those things that's easy to do and easy not to do. And I promise it's probably one of the easiest things you can do to build long-term success. But as far as posting, all right, so your squares, when we say squares, we're talking about your actual content on your Instagram feed, not your stories, okay? Your squares are there permanently, all right? Now, of course, you can take them down, but you have to look at them as content that's going to be there long term, and content that you want to serve your people long term, right? So I am not going to pull stock photos from the internet and talk about a recipe or share about a workout or something like that. Like, I want people to hear my story. I want people to know my story. And Abby and I say this all the time. Like, if you scroll all the way back to our start, our posts and our crappy crappy pictures are still there. And why do we not delete them? Because we want you to know how far we've come. Okay, first of all. But secondly, we have learned a lot about content, and it's our job to teach you. And the number one, these are just kind of some top of the pile tips that we can give you guys. Like, always use your own photos. Always, always, always use your own photos. People are not here they can go search a recipe or find a stock photo or learn something about 21 Day Fix or Lift 4 or whatever, Shakeology on the web, but they can't find your story anywhere except on your feed, all right? Now, people follow you, and they don't want, honestly, if they come to your page, if they stop long enough to read a post, there's something there about you that intrigues them, okay? You have an interesting story. Please do not let Satan convince you otherwise. You may not believe it yet. I didn't believe it in the beginning. I didn't believe that little old Rachel from North Mississippi with no super exciting life had anything to give people, but God said otherwise, okay? So make sure that you are telling your story, and you're telling your story with your own photos. That's really important. Another thing, and I went live about this today in our team page, you don't have to post in the moment. You don't have to be like, oh, it's 7:00 on a Monday morning, I have to have a post, let me take a picture, let me edit it, let me write it up. Like, that's not good stewardship, honestly, of your time or your business. Now, I do like to write things as I'm inspired, and I do like to, I always pretty much have my photos edited in advance most of the time, but like, I like to plan out for the most part what I'm going to post about this week. On Monday, I'm going to post some workouts. Tuesday's going to be a transformation. Wednesday's either going to be like a mom funny or a recipe. Thursdays is always about coaching. Friday's kind of a toss-up. Saturday is too. But I always know, like, what's my target? Like, what's my goal? What do I want to share about? What from my story can I use to inspire people and to encourage people? So, but I take pictures beforehand. So I usually, whenever you see me post a picture, it's not something I just took and edited and put up. It's usually something that I have in my back pocket so I can pull it out to post, because that helps me not be on my phone all the time. That helps me be prepared. And so one of the things that we do, like I do, is on the weekends, or if I'm on vacation, or if the lighting is good or whatever, or I feel like I have a good hair day, like I'll go and take some pictures and save them to post in the future. All right. So that's a really good tip to help you prepare and not just be stuck to your phone. Last thing, you are definitely more than just fitness. Like, I know it's so tempting. You're like, oh, I'm a Beachbody coach, I want to inspire people. And you just want to post sweaty selfies and recipes and like all that stuff all day. That's great. That's good. But you are more than just fitness. You are going to share your workouts. You're going to share your meals. You're going to share things in your stories every day. That's the place for you to do that. But your squares, like your Instagram feed, should be more than just fitness. Because if somebody comes to your page and they're like, oh, all Rachel does is post sweaty selfies, that's kind of boring, right? They're not really getting to know who I am. So go back to your bio, what you put in there, and know that your squares, your post should reflect that. So if I say I am, faith-based, if I say I'm a boy mom, if I say I'm fittish, if I say I'm like whatever, and that's not reflected in my post, then people are gonna be like, what is she talking about? So definitely post more than just fitness. And again, we're going to give you guys a really cool homework example or homework assignment to help you with that. And definitely, like, just another tip, don't post more than once a day on Instagram. That really helps you in your algorithm. Post once a day, then use your stories for other things. Okay. On the next point, you want to take this, Abby, or you want me to?
Can take it. So
Okay.
I think that one of the biggest things, and I bet if I asked for a show of hands from you guys, that everyone is like, I don't want to be that salesy person. That's what everyone always says. Like, their number one feedback coach, I don't want to be that person, because we've definitely seen it done. Well, you probably, if you haven't yet, you will. You'll get some message. It's been done so poorly, and I think there's a lot of people out there who have given the incredible opportunity that network marketing is a really bad name, because they are spammy and they are salesy. I can't talk, salesy. So we really, really, really want to steer you away from selling. And I want to caution you on this, because when I say we don't want you to be salesy, what I don't mean is I want you to feel bad about making a sale, okay? Sales is awesome. Sales is great. And literally, even doctors and nurses are making sales every day. Like, everyone's making sales, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with getting compensated for the work that you do, and you should be, okay? Your time is valuable. So I don't want you to be like, sales is a dirty word. It's not, but it's how you present it, right? It's how you are marketing it. It's how you're sharing stuff. And if you're just pushing products all the time, that's going to turn people off. Stories, what is that? There's a phrase that says facts sell and facts tell, stories sell. You are using your story to sell, because we are in the business of connecting people with that way. So share your struggles, share your wins, share things that are funny. I was talking to a new coach today who she's not even on this call yet. Kristen, if you listen to this, I'm giving you a shout out. She was sharing with me how she literally hates vegetables. She still does. She's brand new, and she's like, okay, I'm going to share about this. Like, every week I'm going to try something new, and it's going to be funny because everyone knows I hate vegetables. Like, that's real life. Sharing how nutrition and workouts are impacting you beyond just the weight loss. Do you have more energy? Did you not think twice about putting your shorts on, running around with your kids? Is your marriage getting better? These are all things that have been wins for me. My self-confidence, my discipline. What value can you give? So healthy salad recipe, or your favorite ab move that you're sharing. Giving tips away on drinking more water, like things that are so easy. We have so many resources at our fingertips, and it's really easy to give away content for free in your stories and in your posts, and you want to give more than you ask. So I try to think of having about 80% roughly of my content be sharing, not selling, because that way when I do put in the call to action post or the story, or I send that invite, I've given so much more. It's not like all I've done is post Shakeology sales photos all day long, And so really think about that. And one of the things I think the easiest way to do that is just using the product. So I would encourage you guys, like, you haven't tried Power Greens, order some. Collagen, order some. Beach Bars, like, actually use these things, because what that does is it's going to drive your volume and your sales when you're talking about it. in your stories. When people purchase from me, I'd say a solid 70 to 80% of them end up buying the deluxe challenge pack because they know I'm obsessed with Energize and I have my Shakeology Recover pudding and they like that. So when I just am sharing those things in my stories, it's also helping me make sales. But I don't think I've ever sold creatine. I don't really sell, like there's a lot of Beachbody products that I don't sell because I don't share about it because I don't use it. And so I'm not pushing something. So really just share what you're loving, what you're using, what's working for you, the bumps in the road. Maybe you're taking a day off from your workout. Talk about that. Maybe you enjoyed your daughter's birthday cake and ice cream and it's not going to send you on a binging spiral until New Year's. Talk about that. Like show your life and the wins that you're having and the days that maybe are hard. And that's what really, really connects with people. They would so much rather see an imperfect progress than a Victoria's Secret model, because that's not attainable. I mean, I guess it is for them, but for most people, that's not realistic. It's so much more realistic to see a mom fighting to get it in before her kids wake up, or, you fill in the blank. So hopefully that makes sense. Don't feel bad about sales. This is a really good example from Rachel, like content that's not specifically related to Beachbody. She's just giving, right? She's diving into her faith. She's giving away resources. She's tagging Jenny Allen. She's showing people, connecting with women who might like this. So that's going to be it where they can get to know her a little bit more. I love this photo of her. This is one of my favorite photos of Rachel. Every time you post it, it like always stops me. So this is a light, bright, eye-catching photo, right? I can guarantee she used her ring light for it. This attention-grabbing first sentence here. And she's giving away tips again in this. Now I didn't write this post, but I know Rachel pretty well. And I can guarantee you, even though she's giving away tips in this post, this is a coaching recruiting post. She is telling people exactly what they're going to learn in New Coach Mentorship and making it seem like it's not that hard. So you can do this same kind of post, guys. I'd encourage you to talk about coaching right away, but with your challenge groups. And, hey, I see you, Mom. Like I'm talking with a gal right now who's like, I can't fit in my workout. I'm so tired when the kids go to bed. So guess what my next post is going to be about this next week? Getting like tips for busy moms, getting it in. So I'm talking to my audience. This is just a fun one, engagement. We told you guys not to use stock photos, but I think stuff like this is okay as long as it's sprinkled. It's not every post of yours. Like something like this, she tagged who posted it, so be sure you give credit if it's someone else's work. And then this is just like an engagement post. Some of my most engaging posts, and I only do them like a couple times a month, but are just taking, doing in like Canva or WordSwag, like a white background with funny mom quotes. Those always blow up. I usually post them on the weekend because I don't have a lot of engagement then. And that's just another way for people to see my sense of humor maybe, or resonate with some other moms. And then this one of hers is her really sharing her journey. Again, it's a transformation photo, but it's showing angles, right? And the difference of what you do with your pants. This is so relatable to another mom who might be like, well, I can't do what Rachel does. Because look at her, she looks so great and it's so easy for her, and she's sharing her very real struggle. So those are some tips for you. Rachel, I'll let you take the next little bit.
I love it. Okay. Yes. So do you guys have any questions about posts? Like, honestly, I feel like it's just something that you just start doing. You start practicing. Like every post that you write, honestly, is practice. And, even now, like every post that I write, it's kind of like an experiment. What does my audience want? What type of pictures do they respond to? Do they respond to funny, like sarcastic mom posts, or do they want like the deep and like spiritual ones? And so like you are like, it's really cool. There's no right or wrong way to do this. Like, trust me, if you go like way out of like the bounds of what we think that is acceptable, or maybe in your best interest, we will tell you. But you really and truly just like, you start sharing your life. Like I have to brag on Brandy. Like Brandy McCormick is a new coach, and she's killer with words. Like she's killer with words. And so like, I wish I had her confidence and her ability to express myself when I was a new coach, but I didn't. Like it started bad, it started sloppy, it started all messy. And I have just like refined my message, and my message honestly is constantly changing because my story changes as my life changes. But I always go back and tell like who I was in the beginning. I'm always a mom. I'm always a boy mom. I always love Jesus. I always love being outdoors. So that's a big part of my message. All right. So just know that there's no coach who comes into this and they just crush it. Everybody has to practice. Another really cool thing that you guys have as new coaches, which Abby and I did not have, is Instagram stories. Like we had no stories until what, like 2 or 3 years ago? I can't even remember. But we literally, our coach told us to post like 3 to 7 times a day, 3 to 5 times a day. And so we were like constantly coming up with posts to make throughout the day so that we could be present on social media. And honestly, it was a little exhausting. I mean, it's probably why we write so much now, but you know, like it is truly like you guys have a gift in Instagram stories. So it's kind of like, if you think about, like, seriously, tell me in the comments, like, are you reality TV people? Like, do you have a reality TV show? Like, tell me in the comments, because I want to know. Like I used to watch the Kardashians. I used to, and then it got a little bit much for me, but like, you know, like we've all watched the Bachelor or whatever it is, those reality TV shows. And so Instagram is really kind of like that. Like it's just throughout the day, you have an opportunity to share with people what's going on in your life, the good, the bad, the messy, the funny, the sad, whatever. And so you have to think of it that way. So in your stories, whereas your Instagram feed, you really want it to be a little bit more curated, a little bit more well thought out, because it's going to be there for a long time. Your stories go away in 24 hours. All right. So it's kind of this place where you really get to be yourself. You really get to show your personality just on the fly, and you can be a hot mess and don't have to worry about it, because people love a hot mess, and they do go away in 24 hours. So what are some things that you definitely want to share in your stories every day? Good thing you asked, because Beachbody gave you this little tracker so that you know exactly. So you want to share your daily life, like things like, for me, daily life is like my devotions, my quiet time, scripture. My kids, let's see, like if we do things for fun, we love to be outside, we love to go swimming, just something funny that Matt says, you know, that's daily life. And then you have workout clips. You want to show your workouts every single day in your stories. I don't care if it's one video or if it's 3. I wouldn't show more than like 2 or 3 clips of your workout. You don't want to give it all away and people are like, yeah, she worked out. I get it, right? But definitely show your workout. That's proof that you're doing this consistently. People don't care if you have rock hard abs and look like Autumn Calabrese. Obviously, you want to be taking care of yourself and get results, but people care that you're showing up every single day, because a lot of people think they can't. And just by you showing up in your stories, showing that workout, the good, the hard, the fun, the messy, like the sweaty, like show it every day, because that's what inspires people. Product usage, meaning like when we share a go-go juice or we share superfoods, you know, that we're drinking that shake, you may feel like, oh, this feels stupid. But like if people know that you drink it every day, they're going to be a whole lot more likely to say yes when you ask them to invest in it and drink it for themselves every single day. All right. And you see Abby and I and some other coaches doing our go-go juice like every day. Hey, we're mixing this. It's waking me up. It's going to give me what I need to do my workout. Some people do like fun dance videos with their go-go juice. They're energized. You can do whatever you want to. Share healthy meals. Like it's really important that people don't think that you just drink a shake 3 times a day, because there are diet plans out there where you don't eat a whole lot and you just drink a shake to lose weight. That's not what we're about. We are about real food. Shakeology is real food, but we're not drinking 3 Shakeologies a day. We're drinking a shake and we're eating a whole lot of other good, healthy meals. So show people that. Share daily life. And then the other thing is invite daily. So I do invite to something every single day, whether it's a challenge group or the coaching opportunity, or maybe I invite people to get a copy of my meal plan, right? But I am inviting daily, and that's important so that people know what you have to offer. The next thing is that if you'll scroll on down, Abby, some things not to do. Don't be in your stories all day long. Like, I don't want people to think, oh my gosh, Rachel's a coach and she has to be on social media all day. I don't have to be. I don't want to be on social media every minute, every day. And I can tell you, there are coaches out there that are, and I don't know how they do it. Like, I don't know how they do it. I really like to unplug from social media. So, maybe like this morning, like I am not just sitting there on my phone posting to my stories all day. Like I did my work, I recorded my workout videos while I was working out. Like I just recorded like 3 or 4 of them. And if you don't know, like if you go to your stories, you guys, I get asked this a lot by new coaches, but like if you go to your stories and it pulls up like this, if you slide all the way to the right, it says hands free, and you see that little dot. Look, that's me. You see that little dot? If you actually like hold it, it will count down 3 seconds, and then it will start recording 15-second clips of videos. All right. So that is how I record my workout videos. And so I just save them up at the top. See, this is the recording, and there's a little arrow right there. If I click that arrow, it saves that video to my camera. And I didn't like post my workout videos right away. Like I waited like an hour or two until later, until I had the time to sit down and put it together and say what I wanted to say. So, you know, don't be a slave to your stories. I like to tell coaches, like, post at least 1 to 2 stories an hour, so that your little circle up there around your face is constantly showing in people's feed. But, you know, I do between 10 to 20 stories a day, probably on average. And don't just post about fitness, you know, like, yes, you want to share, you want to be proof that the products work. You want to share healthy tips and give value and show people what you're doing. But, you know, your story shouldn't be just about you and your fitness and your coaching business. I love to do stories of me and the boys at the swimming pool. I like to do funny things with it. They say, you know, the other day, I don't remember what day it was, but we played headbands, you know, like I like to share what my morning devotion and my routine is like, right? And so those are things that are about Rachel and not just about me and my coaching business. Let's see, Evelyn, what'd you say? I think I explained how I do my workout clips. So just I record those 15-second clips while I'm working out, save them, and then I worry about posting them after my workout, because I do want to be present for my workout. That's really important. All right, next one, Abby, Instagram stories. And definitely get creative. You know, Instagram gives you so many tools, like to write on your post, to put words or GIFs or timestamps or, you know, whatever, polls and questions and things like that. And your stories aren't just a place to invite. So, you know, Abby and I do this a lot. We ask for advice. If we're going on a date night, we ask for an advice. Like, should I wear outfit A or outfit B? What's your favorite thing? What's your favorite vacation? The beach or the mountains? Like, a really good tip, and I hope you hear this and you really, really like receive it, is in your stories, you want to be more interested in your followers than you want them to be interested in you. What does that mean? Ask them questions. Where's your favorite restaurant to go out to eat? Do you have boys or girls? Like, did you grow up in the South or the North? Do you like to go on a date night to a restaurant or to go play putt-putt golf? You know, like, ask people questions. Ask questions about them, not just, hey, do you want to join my group? But tell me about you, or how can I serve you better? Do you want meal plans or workout ideas? Do you want recipes for small kids or date night dinners or things like that? If you're asking them, people want to respond to stuff like that. They want to engage. They want to give advice. They want to tell you about themselves. Be interested in your followers. That's so, so important. Don't just do a bunch of stories where you're talking the whole time. People are going to get bored and click out. So do with like a series of video, still video, boomerang, that type of thing. That's going to keep your people engaged. But definitely use the features that Instagram gives you, and Instagram likes it when you do that. And here's another tip. If you do a poll about, like, what should I eat for dinner? Sushi or Chinese or whatever. Like, if someone votes in your poll, respond to them. Okay, so you can see who votes in your poll by clicking on the little faces at the bottom, and there's an arrow next to everyone's name who voted. Send them a message. That is going to help your Instagram algorithm. That's going to help them connect with you, and that's just going to help you overall. So we want to be interested in people, we want to be engaged with people, and we want to be in people's inboxes, and that's just a really simple way to do it.
Okay, so these are some good apps. I actually don't really use Snapseed. I don't Rachel uses it too much anymore, but it's really great when it's free. Lightroom for presets, I would strongly encourage you guys. You can find them for literally like $5 on Etsy. You don't have to spend a lot, but this really gives you kind of a cohesion for your feed, and it helps just make it look a little bit better. And if you've ever gone to someone's page and been like, wow, all their pictures have the same sort of like vibe or mood to it, they're using a preset. So think about what you like. Like, do you like a lot of whitewash stuff? Do you like more vibrant colors? Do you like muted? Like, kind of look around your house. Like, what do you tend to post? But that really helps you be able to have your feed just look cohesive, where when someone is scrolling through, my hope would be that they recognize that it's my photo before they even really pay attention to who's in it. You can get them on Etsy if you just search Lightroom presets. I would encourage you, when you're doing it, make sure it says mobile, because if it's a desktop version, it won't work. So mobile, and the Lightroom app itself is free. It's a little bit of a learning curve to download it, but it honestly, like, I was able to figure out, I think it took me about 20 minutes the first time I did it to get them on my phone and downloaded. Rachel does those little white squares around her posts, and so she uses Square Ready for that. And then we both use the Plan app. There's a free version of it, and why I really love this is that you can, if you've ever tried to post on Instagram and you have your whole thing written out and then it like screws up all your paragraph spacing, when you write it in Plan, it keeps it all exactly how you wrote it, which is really, really awesome. So you copy it directly from there, and you can pre-write your stuff in here. So you can upload your photos in advance. You can have them waiting there. You can kind of drag them around and see how they look. And you can also pre-write your posts. So Rachel said she used to do this on the weekends. I did too. If you have a minute where you're nursing the baby or your kids are occupied or whatever, and you can be like, jot something down, write it down, and it just is sitting there waiting for you. So that really helps you with your time management again. So you're not like doing these things in the moment, which is really, really helpful. TikTok is a big one right now. I actually don't use TikTok, but I know that it's super hot, and I know there's a lot of really great tutorials out there for it. Unfold is free, and it's where you get this kind of look right here with the white and the font. So this, all like oftentimes upload workout clips into here because I can put like 2 videos going on simultaneously or something like that. It just makes it look a little bit pretty. Mojo is another one. It does some fun videos. All of these ones have paid options, but they also have free templates too. So you can totally use the free stuff. Over, I don't think either of us really use Over as much anymore, but it's another one where you can do stories and videos. And then Canva is really great. Their app is a little bit harder to use, and I think you have to pay for it, but the desktop version is free. And it's where, if you guys wonder where we make our team banners or recognition or anything like that, you can do stories. And what I really love about Canva is you can actually, they'll save, and you can re-edit them so easily for later. You can just update your photo, tweak the text. If you want to share it with someone, you can make a copy, share an editable copy for them. So it's really nice because, again, you do some work up front, and then it's just there and created, and you can reuse the whole thing in like a month or 2, which makes it super easy. So the next thing is kind of just truly maintaining a healthy relationship with it, right? And this is one of those things that I think a lot of people are nervous about, because it really, you can get sucked in, and it is something that can be addictive. And there are absolutely valid reasons that people have negative relationships with social media. But also, guys, it's something that's a part of our world, right? It's something that's not going anywhere. And for me personally, I'm so grateful to use this, number one, to have a platform to connect with more people from my tiny little town in Oregon. It gives me a voice. Also, it's giving me a tool that, like, I know this is going to be a part of my kids' lives, and I get to learn it and model healthy behavior for them. Which I think is really, really important. You can set boundaries with this. You can work efficiently. It doesn't have to be a time suck, and you can be careful on what you post and how you post it. So don't let it be a fear. So here's some tips for you guys. Rachel, do you want to go over these ones? Or I can. Okay. So set hours. Like, I literally was off of my stories all day until 3 p.m. today. Now, I don't usually do that, but when I popped back on, I explained, I'm like, it's really important to me to have stewardship and balance, and today I need to unplug. So you can explain that, but set hours for it. You can actually look on your phone in your settings, and it will tell you how many hours you're spending on each app. I believe that you can do things where to like kick you off eventually. So when I was a new coach, I would like, every time I heard a ding, I'd be like, I gotta message it. And the truth is, you don't. I now respond to people just like I would at a normal job. I will respond within 24 hours or 48 hours on the weekend, because I don't want people to have this expectation of me, even as their coach, that the second they ask me something, I'm going to drop my whole life with my family. You know, you are helping people, yes, but you don't have to be a slave to your notifications. So turn them off if you need to. Have set hours and honor those with your family. So be where your feet are. If it's family time, go put your phone in a drawer if you need to. If it's date night, like unplug, be those things, be where you are, because that's setting an example for your future coaches, for your family, for your friends, and it gives you a healthier balance where it's at. Planning ahead, we've talked about using weekends, planning your content. This is something that you will get better at. It feels a little bit tricky at first, but the more you do it and the more you find a rhythm that works for you, you will start to kind of figure out, maybe you're someone who doesn't pre-write all your posts, but you just kind of have a checklist. Maybe you do, like you can kind of figure out what works for you, and then ask for help if you need help with this. Husbands are great. Like, put down your phone, watch the movie. Like Ben, it was so funny. He used to get so annoyed if we were sitting on the couch together watching a show and I was on my phone working. And I'd be like, it doesn't matter, we're just watching a show. But he could tell like I wasn't engaged. And so we've had conversations. And so now we actually both sit on the couch and work now because he's super swamped. But that when I was first starting my business, it'd be like, okay, Sunday night through Wednesday night, I'm going to work. But Thursday and Friday, I will unplug and I won't touch my phone, you know, during these hours. And so we had that accountability for each other, which I think is really important. You don't want to burn out your families and your relationships just because of this business. And being consistent, guys, is so key. Like, I know my team gets sick of me, but this is like my main word for coaching. It all goes together, right? What you post, you have to be adding followers consistently. You need to be posting consistently. Like, and it doesn't mean every 2 seconds, like Rachel said, but it has to be consistent where people are able to start getting to know you. They start to understand a flow. If you go MIA for 3 weeks, they're not going to be following you anymore. Or if you do come back, honestly, like, not to be mean, they probably won't want to sign up with you as a coach because you look like a flake. Even if you're not, even if that's not you, that's how it comes across. And so that consistency is so important in just sharing your journey and connecting with others. And when you do that, it's, if you're reading The Slight Edge or The Compound Effect, you know it starts to snowball. Bit by bit, layer by layer, brick by brick, you're building this incredible foundation for your business that will pay off and it will be strong. So we have an assignment for you. I will stop screen sharing. Do you guys have questions on anything? I can see in the chat right here. Evelyn, yeah, set hours, girl. Do you guys have questions on anything at all? No.
Abby, I do have a quick question. You said about setting, how do you set your, something on your notifications?
You can turn off your notifications. Like on Facebook, you can turn them off so they're not dinging at you. Okay. Settings, like in the app settings themselves. So if that's something like, I don't do this often, but like sometimes I'll put a sticky note over my phone when I'm working so I can't see them, or I'll turn them off when I'm doing my power hour because I just need to focus on that. And if I get a dot, it's gonna be like squirrel. So you know how you work best, but do that. And so I will have like my business hours right now are usually around from 2 to 3, and then from like 9 to 11 at night. That's just where I'm working right now because of my kids. And so I very rarely respond to anything outside of those emails. Now you will see me on my stories, or I might do a post, but I'm not actually responding to messages or anything like that outside those windows, unless it's super urgent, and then I will. So I think that's important too.
What are the hours that you would recommend for a business like this? I think we might have talked about the way beginning, but I need a refresher.
Well, I think it's whenever works for you. Like, you know, yours and mine, and I think Rachel would say the same. Like, ours flex week to week even. And whereas our kids get older or different seasons come, I think whatever you can be consistent with. But for me, when I first started, it was I'd get up early, get my workout done, check in with my challengers in the morning. And then if I had a lunch break, it would be like send some invites or prep a post. And then I'd sit down on my couch from 9 to 11. And that was when I do like my power hour, for lack of a better word. And so it just kind of flexes. I don't know. I mean, Rachel, I feel like you're very consistent with your hours, but your kids are also a little older. So, you've had to adjust your business, or when you're at work, it's different.
Yeah, it's totally, I feel like a crazy show lately. I don't know why. I really can't figure out why it's so crazy here lately, but they are older. And that does help, but it kind of presents a different kind of crazy. And also I feel like I need to be a little bit more present now that they're older when I'm with them, so like if we are watching a movie, they don't want me to be on my phone, or like even they don't even want me to read a book while we're sitting there watching a movie. They want me to watch the movie because it's interesting to them, right? And so like I think that different ages present different obstacles and challenges, and so yeah, I don't think we can really give you like specific work hours. Like I know that now, like sometimes whenever Matt gets home, I'm like, hey, I need an hour. Like give me an hour so I can sit down and work. So I think it's really important to communicate to your family. Like Evelyn, I know you have older girls. Communicate to your family like what you're doing, why this is important to you, your business, and also to them, but also to ask your spouse or even your older kids, like, hey, can you give me 30 minutes to sit down and do this, and then I'll be with you, undivided attention. I think that's really something that's been and this is kind of I'm going off on a tangent, but like, it's really important to me to communicate to my children that work is important, not that work is more important than you, but we all have to work. And I want to teach them a good, strong work ethic. Like good things don't just fall out of the sky, like we have to like really, if we say we're going to do something, we commit to it, we work hard, and then we just trust God with the results, right? Okay.
Mela, I see your question about PD books. So I actually have a PDF with a whole bunch listed and descriptions of each. So I will share that as soon as our call is done. I will upload that into that new coach training group. So look for that PDF. But if you're a new coach, I would definitely recommend starting with the Slide Edge if you haven't yet. That one is so good. And then we definitely have a lot more. So we'll totally share that.
Sorry, I just wanted to clarify really quickly. My question was like how many hours, but I just remembered that it's on your BAT where it says like how many hours or how many minutes to spend on each thing. So I was just trying to figure out like how many hours I should set aside to do my business.
I would do sometimes it's 30 minutes a day for me, honestly. But I would say like an hour to 2 hours a day, broken up into little 20 or 30 minute pockets. So you can shoot for an hour a day consistently. And then there's going to be some days where it's more and some days where it's less. And then obviously it's one of those things that the more you work this business, the more it's going to grow. So if I had 8 hours to work my business, I'd probably be a top 10 coach by now. But I'd just be sending invites all day long. So it is one of those things that the more you work it, the more you're going to get out of it. But just that consistency of an hour. I mean, Rachel and I both at the beginning worked an hour a day, and we were able to match our salaries in that over, a couple years. So it definitely pays off. Okay. So what our assignment is for you guys, Rachel, do you want to do it or do you want me to do it? I don't care.
Do you have it written down?
I know what I have in my head.
Yeah.
Okay. So one of the biggest things, and I would encourage you guys, take out a piece of paper, grab some notes, or if you have a memory, just like keep this. But I'm going to post tomorrow, and I'm going to ask you guys to screenshot if you feel comfortable with these lists and share them with us. So a lot of times people will be like, I don't have an interesting life. Like, I'm just a mom, or I have nothing, like, I don't know what stories to tell. I don't know if you've told yourself that, but that is just poop and lies. Like, your story matters so much. And so years ago at Summit, when Rachel and I were both at Summit, which so excited for it to happen sometime, and you guys all need to be there next year. But there was this really helpful exercise that Bonnie Engel, who's one of the top 10 coaches, she had everyone do. So she got out note cards. So I encourage you, grab a piece of paper or write this down for later. And there's going to be a couple sets of 10 things, okay? So the first thing that I want you to write down is 10 things that bring you joy. Not Beachbody stuff. I mean, it can be, like maybe working out brings you joy, but like what brings you joy? For me, it's my kids, right? A good chocolate bar, my husband, binge stalking Kate Middleton blogs. I love her. Like reading about Winston Churchill brings me joy. Hiking with my family, like, you write down what, like 10 things that just bring you joy, that light your soul on fire, that makes you super, super happy. So write down those things. Okay. After you do that list, the next thing that you're going to write down are 10 things that you have overcome in your life. Now, these can be heavy things. They can be things like eating disorders. They can be things like relationship issues. I was working with a coach of mine recently, and it was marriage stuff. She grew up in foster homes, like hard, heavy stuff. For me, it would be like my miscarriage. But it also can be, I don't want to say little stuff, but it could be small stuff like confidence. Maybe you've really struggled with body image. Maybe you really struggled with time management. Just things that you are either working on or you have overcome in your life. So 10 things like that. And this can be hard to actually come up with it. When you start digging down, like, we don't spend a lot of time sometimes thinking about these things, or we tend to downplay what we've done. This one coach that I was working with, she's like, I don't have a story. And as I was reading through her list, I was like, oh my word, like, you could write a book. So dig deep. So 10 things that bring you joy, 10 things that you've overcome. Next, I want you to write down 10 things that you are super normal in. Okay. So like, you have kids. Do you struggle with laundry piles on your bed? I do. Do you hate doing dishes? Do you love binge watching Netflix? Like, what are 10 things that just make you so just incredibly normal and relatable? Do you always, like, I don't know, do your husband, you fight over who loads the dishwasher better? That's us. Like, Ben always says I do it horribly, and he redoes it almost every night, and it's a joke now. So 10 things that make you totally normal. And then after that list, this is the last one, is to write down 10 things that make you unique. Again, this one can be kind of hard, okay? But think through, like, what makes you you? When your friends think about Roseanne, what are they going to say? So this could be things that, like, what do people come to you for advice on? When you get a phone call from someone, like, what's the first thing they're going to ask you about? Do you love country line dancing? Do you guys have you seen every concert of so-and-so every time they come to town? For me, like, things that make me unique would be, most people, I think in Beachbody World don't know this, but I grew up in a orphanage for handicapped kids in Mexico. That's really unique. Like, that's something that's not normal. I've had surgery on both my feet have been broken in surgery and re-screwed back together. That's unique. Just things like that. Do you love home remodeling? So these aren't necessarily, they could be things that make you normal, but I want you to really think of, like, what sets you apart. Like, I'm just thinking right now off the top of my head, like, Roseanne, I know you guys bought a vineyard. Super unique. Like, that's crazy and really cool. So write down these lists. And so I'd encourage you to take some time tonight or tomorrow, or when you have time, to really do this. Write them in a journal, write them in a planner, somewhere where you're going to see them pretty often. And if you can, you'll see a post tomorrow. I want you to drop them there so we can, like, if you feel comfortable with it, we can learn some stuff about each other. But then what this does is, when you say, I have nothing to post, I want you guys to go back and look at that list and be like, okay, I can talk about how I have overcome X, Y, or Z. Like, I could talk about how I've overcome my lack of self-confidence. And quite honestly, my workouts have been a huge piece in growing in that area. Coaching for me has been a huge piece. And so all of a sudden I had this segue into something I'm really good at. Guess what? I can educate people on my Instagram stories about that. Like, what makes me unique, or sharing things. I can do, like, sharing fun little fun fact Fridays, just letting people get to know you. Or maybe just the relatable stuff. Like, one of my most engaged with posts on Instagram was me holding this, like, literal absurdly high pile of laundry, like, making a, like, face, and asking moms, like, okay, you got to feel me on this. Like, who else is having this kind of day too? That makes you super, super normal and relatable. And so this is one of those things that, as you grow in your business, you're going to be able to keep coming back to. Maybe your 10 lists will change, but you got to give yourself more credit than you have. And the more you can dive into what makes you you, the more you are going to attract the right kind of people into your business, because they're going to resonate with your story, not with mine, not with Rachel. It's going to be you. And you're going to really start to see, like, how, like, I want you to think about, like, what do I have to offer as a coach that Abby doesn't, right? Now, we all know that we're all great people, but, like, there's going to be pieces that you have that are more relatable to your audience. And so we want you to own that, own your story, and that's going to really help you with your social media too. So all that homework check-in. I know this is getting late, but is there anything else, Rachel?
No, Abby, will you post that? Will you give that like as an assignment tomorrow, maybe? Because I need to do that too, and I'm going to do it with you guys.
Perfect. I'll post the list tomorrow with the 10 things, and then I'll ask you guys to drop them below as you have them, and I will write them down as well and share them. And I think it's going to be kind of fun. It's fun to start to think of like, oh, yeah, this is fun. Like I didn't even realize it's about myself. So I know I gave you a lot tonight. You guys are awesome. Anything, questions?
You want to take a picture?
Oh yeah. Do you want to do it or do you want me to? I can
do it.
Okay.
Okay. Hold on.
Oh yeah, turn your cameras on, people.
Okay, are you ready? You want to do a boomerang? Let's do a boomerang.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. We'll just do something fun. I don't care. Do whatever. Okay, 1, 2, 3, go. Okay. I love it, Roseanne. That's hilarious. Okay, I'll post it and I'll put it in or I'll send it to Abby and she can share it with you guys. Okay. All right, you guys have a good night. Thanks for showing up.
Bye.
Bye.